Hi, I'm Angel. You can call me Auntie Angel. And I want to talk about something I've been seeing a lot of lately, which is polarity. The talk about the dynamic dance between feminine and masculine, which I think is a passion of many of ours, certainly is and has been a passion of mine throughout my life. And I'm aware that part of what's going on is that the AI has picked up on some stuff that I'm dealing with on a personal level, but I want to talk about this on a more general level because I know I'm not the only one who's seeing this type of advertising, and I know I'm not the only one who's got a lot of mixed feelings about it. So I just kind of wanted to unpack some of that here with you. Do let me know if any of this resonates with you and hit that subscribe button while I'm thinking of it. Again, this is just off the cuff, me processing in real time, because that's what I like to do. I see these ads about masculine and feminine polarity, and many times they resonate with me because there's so much truth in them. And I want to add, I think the AI is showing me more and more of them because I've taken an interest in how to incorporate more of that sexy, secure energy into my own marketing as an entrepreneur in a more conscious, deliberate way, because I see that that's what we all like and respond to. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. In fact, I think that our sexual energy is this beautiful, amazing, I don't know how to quite put it into words, this beautiful, amazing aspect of being a human, being a mammal more broadly, but being a human specifically, in that we can come up with this concept, this construct of romance and love intermixed with our sexual energy, and create, families and societies and civilization. A lot of that is founded on this dynamic dance, in that polarity between masculine and feminine, both in individuals and in couples, in families, in civilizations. I was just listening to a great business coach talk about that dynamic dance in marketing and sales, and that's partly why it's fresh on my mind. But then after I listened to that masterclass, I went onto Facebook, as one does, and I saw another post about masculine feminine polarity, and the posts tend to be they're clickbait, as we are all familiar with at this point, where the title is meant to spark some emotional response. And in that regard, this is very effective marketing. The emotional response that's being sparked in me, and I think in a lot of others, has some conflictedness. And again, this is what I'm trying to unpack here. I'm not sure to what degree I'm being successful, but here's the thing. There's truth in the fact that women want a man to lead, in my experience. I should pause here and add a caveat that there's not one way, not one right way or one wrong way to have a relationship, a loving, healthy, dynamic, human, loving relationship. So I am in no way ever trying to say there's just one way to it. I'm speaking in this broad sense. I myself am a fairly masculine woman by most standards, and I don't mean that in a, like, there's the traumatized aspect, but then there's the biological aspect. I'm fairly strong. I'm fairly I probably have more testosterone in my system than some. Now, I mentioned testosterone, and this is an interesting aspect of this dynamic dance. Our hormones have so much to do with how we feel and how we interact, and males and females are influenced by our dynamic dance with each other. So for example, when a man does something for a woman, provides for her, it actually gives him more testosterone. And when a woman nurtures a man or a child, it actually gives her more oxytocin, more estrogen, I think. I'm a little bit outside my knowledge, my comfortable knowledge zone in that. But I do know that our interactions influence our hormones, and vice versa. Our hormones influence our interactions. So there's always these dynamic dances going on in life, right? And these statements about like a man should correct his woman, for example, that's the statement that I just saw that sort of triggered this desire to unpack that a little bit. I just think there is so much danger for women and men in a statement like that, largely because there's so much truth in it. So let me unpack that a little bit. Take that specific statement, although there are many in this arena. The statement that a man should correct his woman is rooted in the understanding that a man should be a clear, calm leader. And I'm let's just put a lot of space around what I just said there and acknowledge that this piece is coming out of a bigger conversation. So there's a lot more nuances to all of this. But again, just to simplify and get to the point that I'm trying to get to, there's truth in the dynamic between the feminine wanting the masculine to lead and be powerful and be calm, and the masculine wanting the feminine to be feeling, to be vulnerable, to be, I was going to say in need of caring, but there's something in that it feels a little sticky to me still. But it is very much related to what I'm trying to unpack here. So help me out in the comments if you have any epiphanies about what I'm trying to spit out. As a woman, what turns me on is a man who leads and who is confident in his ability to lead. And to some degree, I am willing to follow a man who is fallible and imperfect and vulnerable in ways, as long as he is confident and secure in that. It's an interesting dynamic dance. And the thing I see in many men around me in response to a statement like a man should correct his woman when she's being disrespectful is an immature, unconfident reaction to what feels like disrespect from a feminine to a masculine. And the consequence of that is often abuse, physical and emotional, and psychological abuse. I don't know, psychological is physical and emotional, maybe? I don't know. Anyhow, I have been abused a lot in my life, and I'm not trying to play the victim or lay blame. That I'm very aware I'm increasingly aware of how my own trauma and wounding as a child, particularly when it comes to that male-female dynamic, led to an extreme independence early on, which then leads to a really high bar, a really high standard of what I expect a man to be able to step into for strength and leadership, because I am such a strong, capable woman myself. And that has led me to a number of abusive relationships. I think the last one was the most conscious one I've had yet, and it still deteriorated to a very familiar dynamic in which I was sort of trying to submit and give my respect to a man who was no longer holding space to protect me and, give me that leadership. And I think this is fairly common where we started off with that dynamic. We even talked about it quite a bit, and certainly we felt it. There's a lizard in my house that just caught my eye over there. I may have to pause. Let's see if I can wrap this up since we're pushing the 10-minute mark already. My point is that I think we all are some nuanced combination of masculine and feminine, and I think there is a lot of truth to the fact that the biological nature of things makes it such that the feminine wants to be it's like the behind the scenes backbone, like dropping the handkerchief type of leadership, and the masculine wants to be the more yang, more out front, more showy aspect of leadership. That lizard's in my kitchen. It's a young one. I think it's climate change that's caused this lizard to be in my kitchen. And perhaps I will end on that note, is like, things are always in flux, always changing. And so this conversation about what is the best way for men and women to have healthy, happy relationships is an ongoing conversation. And so I hope you will join me in some of it. And I also hope that you will keep a little bit of an open mind around it. And I want to remind all of us, including myself, to always be returning back to that integrity, that alignment, that sense of security and love and trust. And when we come from that place, rather than that place of fear and insecurity, both as men and as women, we can have these fantastic feel-good dances between the masculine and the feminine, and it can take on many nuanced forms. And overall, sure, we want the man to lead and we want the woman to follow or be led or be held or be protected. On the broader sense, however, I think it's not so easy to just, like, it's both and. We can boil it down to that, and we need to always be looking at the nuances and coming from places of consideration and compassion and consent and curiosity and a whole lot of other C words like courage and communication. Let me know what you think of that ramble. Do subscribe. Check out the description if you want to find other ways of connecting with me. Thanks for being you. Thanks for letting me be me. Do what you can to change the world for the better. If nothing else, change yourself a little bit better. Here's a love bomb coming your way. Ciao for now. Stay free.